The NFL and ESPN partnership could be real. What's up with Netflix and the NFL? Ratings this year are going to go up, up, and away. We'll tell you why. And the UFC rights deal, what's the latest? It's the monthly. Marchand-Ourand is in the house. The main event, the reunion. Here we go. John, great to have you once again. Love these monthly visits when you come on. So it's great to see you. John, if you're unaware, which you're probably not, has a newsletter, must read every Monday and Thursday, and then has his own podcast Wednesday and Saturday, The Varsity. You've joined the Varsity. You've joined the main event.
And we're back. Come on, Andrew. I was waiting for that one.
That is true.
I was, you spent Super Bowl week in New Orleans running around. I spent Super Bowl week in New Orleans running around. We talked to virtually the same people in New Orleans, but we never once saw each other. That was surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that surprising when you know your kind of MO. You're at the parties. And not the media parties, the Beyonce parties, the political parties, name dropping in your newsletter.
Andrew, I did go to this one party. It was a fashion show, and they had the singer Lloyd Bridges was there, and Joe Burrow was there, and like Jamar Chase was actually one of the models that was walking the I was like, my first ever fashion show. I didn't write anything off of it, but it was just like the thing about Super Bowl week is that you just got to be prepared for like just kind of like ridiculous things like that. It was a unique experience.
Yeah, I think I only went to one. I went to the volume party. That was it. I was invited maybe to one or two others. I'm not, I didn't get invited to the fashion show. And you also were at Rayo's or something, the pop-up?
Yeah, Rayo. Have you eaten at Rayo's in New York?
I have not, but we had Peter Schrager on a couple weeks ago or last week on the main event, and he was at Rayo's, and he was saying Kevin Costner was there. Who else did he mention? He mentioned some other big time people. Did not mention Marchand-Ourand, but a lot of famous people were at this Rayo's.
We had the night I went, we had DMC of Run DMC who actually sang "Walk This Way," and then
during your dinner.
Yeah,
in lieu of payment, he did a song.
I guess so. He had to sing for. He literally had to sing for his supper. For this audience, the biggest star that I saw was Mad Dog. Mad Dog was at the Rayo's. Eating the Italian food.
Well, that makes sense. Mad Dog Russo. He's half Italian, half English. His mother is very proper. Chris Mad Dog Russo. Always plugging here. Go back in the archives. You want to hear the Russo interview was tremendous in the main event. If you haven't heard that one yet, we're sponsored, John, by WSC Sports. We announced the other day our first event, Off the Record with Andrew Marchand, presented by WSC Sports. Look in the show notes for details. It's on March 18th, and the special guest is ESPN Chairman Jimmy Pitaro. Also want to tell you about WSC's push notifications. Your league, your team, you are a owner of any of these things, you have to use push notifications, because if you ever thought about how to reach fans instantly where they're most engaged, which is their cell phones, these mobile phone push notifications work perfectly. WSC Sports can automate the inclusion of near live video highlights sent directly to fans' phones via push notifications. Go and Google WSC Sports, go to the right-hand corner, press the yellow button, tell them Marchand sent you. It's also going to be in the show notes as well. John, let's get to our first topic. The NFL and ESPN partnership could be real. This has been written about a lot. I wrote about it my last article when I left the Post. This is about a little more than a year ago. And I didn't say it was going to get done, but things were heating up at that point. Then they cooled down. The other day, about a week or two ago, you wrote they're heating up again. On a rare occasion, you were correct. I checked out your sources on that, and that they are heating up. Will it happen? Will it not happen? We're not sure yet. What says you?
That's the highest praise that I've had from you in 3 years of doing a podcast with you. That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah. It is the on again, off again, on again, off again sale going on here. There are a couple of things that I find to be really interesting about this is that for as long as I've been writing about the NFL, from a media standpoint, everything is great, and it has always been great. Ratings have been going a steep upward trend line for the past, what is it, 20 or 30 years. They launch NFL Network, and they have a little bit of a trouble getting on some cable operators like a Time Warner back in the day, but eventually they do it and they're able to grow. They create a red zone channel, and immediately that becomes something that becomes really popular and out there. So from a media standpoint, everything they touch has turned to gold, except for when they put the for sale sign on their media properties, and they've talked with everybody. And I still am not quite sure if it's the fact that they want too much out of this, if the asking price is too high. If you listen to any of our podcasts over the past several years, cord cutting and the cable industries and is going haywire right now. Do people really want to invest in an NFL network, which is, these single sports networks are getting hit as hard as the RSNs. Like it isn't quite coming to FS1 or ESPN as strong yet, even though it is, it's hitting these single sports networks. So is it just kind of a function of like, we don't want to invest in old media, or is it a function of that they're being too expensive, or a little bit of probably all of the above, I think. But with ESPN flagship, with their direct to consumer product coming this fall, ESPN, it likes the idea of the content. The NFL Films content is there. It likes the idea of especially NFL Red Zone channel.
Yep.
In the fall they think is going to drive a lot of consumers. And the thing about NFL Network, it still has, I don't have the exact number in front of me. I think it's 8 live games.
Yep.
And so live football games, it helps a lot. So as ESPN's looking at that landscape, as they're getting ready to go whole hog into direct to consumer, it started talking again. They're not really, nothing's going to be announced next week on this, but they are talking, and this appears to be on a path to where I would gamble that there's going to be a resolution to it.
A glide path or a cliff path?
This is a glide. Oh, this is definitely a glide path. Yes.
So I think my initial story, about a year or so ago, they did lay a lot of the groundwork. So they kind of can just pick things up where they were. So a lot of the intricacies have already been decided. And that means to me that, and you're talking about the glide path, about 3 months away, maybe 4 or 5, in that range, because you look at August, that's when ESPN wants to go direct to consumer with the whole enchilada. So you can bypass cable and just get ESPN. They're going to have a lot of features they're very excited about. It's going to be priced, I've reported, in the $25 to $30 range, at least at this point. That's where it makes sense. They need more content. The best content to have is the NFL. That's where I think you see this going. And before you respond to that, let me just remind people, if you want to listen to the whole podcast, andrewmarchand.com to upgrade or listen to the rest of this podcast. Last few weeks, we've had NFL people, Adam Schefter, Peter Schrager, Peter King. So a lot of NFL content